Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the course of Strategic and Digital Marketing. I'm more than happy to welcome to this course. My name is Waldemar Farge. I'm professor at the University of Limassol, and I would like to guide you through this course. We are starting today with session 1, and I would like to introduce to you the marketing principles and the knowledge about digital marketing. This is based on various publications, and one of them I gave you to read as homework, as the preparational work to you. While the introduction of the basics of marketing, which is at the beginning, will cover corporate strategy and marketing, which we will look at close today, but it also will look at marketing communication and channels, consumer and business behavior, segmentation, targeting and positioning, marketing mix and outbound and inbound marketing, of course, the customer journey and customer relationship management. And then we talk a little bit about data-driven marketing and the new marketing mix. Today, we concentrate on the corporate strategy and the marketing. Well, for every strategic decision, we need to be clear what it is. And one definition is a strategic decision is a careful, considered choice made by an organization or an individual that has a significant and long-term impact on the overall direction and success of business, project, or personal goals. Strategic decision typically involves a comprehensive analysis of available information, evaluation of potential risks and rewards, and the consideration of various factors such as market conditions, competition, sources, and long-term objectives. With this definition set, we have a great basis for all the considerations what we want to do. We have one famous professor. His name is Michael Porter, and he introduced various books on strategic marketing. The one most important is his principle, the 5 competitive forces that shape strategy. And he introduced that many years ago, but it's still important. So if there's a rivalry among existing competitors, there are 4 additional other forces. Of course, the bargaining power of the supplier, the bargaining power of the buyer, the threat of substitute of other service companies, and the threat of new entrants. These are the basic forces which shape the competitive environment and needs to be considered for the development of your strategy. Therefore, understanding this principle is very important. At the end, I have the link to Michael Porter's introduction of the principle and one real long strategy course which you could watch to get more knowledge about business strategy. Well, in the strategy, consideration, and marketing, we need to understand where we put the strategizing, and we have to distinguish between corporate strategy and business strategy. So the strategy of the enterprise and the strategy of the divisions, groups, business units, or whatever you call that. And this distinction is very important because in today's world, companies are becoming conglomerates, companies becoming multi-brand companies, and therefore we need to distinguish between the business strategy and the corporate strategy. At the corporate strategy level, we ask ourselves, what business or business should we be in? So we make decisions about what kind of business we want to do. Number 2, how does the parent company add value to the subsidiaries? How does the company help its businesses? What kind of synergies can be created? Is it a purely supervising function, or is it actually an active interaction with the business? And finally, how does being in one of the business help to compete in the other business, which is basically the question of synergies between the various business. So that is overarching questions on the corporate strategy. On the business strategy, we have one basic question. How should we compete? Because we need to be in a very unique position to differentiate ourselves or be advantaged on the cost side. So that are the basic questions of strategizing in a corporation on the corporate level and on the business level. If we have said that, we need to put that into perspective. So corporate is on top, then comes business units, and then comes operational. So that is very clear. So the corporate marketing strategy is behind the corporate business strategy, and the business unit marketing strategy is behind the corporate business strategy. Well, if we know that, we also understand that marketing follows business strategy. So there is strategy, and that strategy is supported by marketing communication, and the operations. Very important is the branding. We'll come back to that in one of the other sessions. In addition, we have to consider that what we have here is also triggered by new realities, what we call today the digital reality. But the most important finding is that there is no digital strategy. There's a strategy in the digital world. This quote was Jeff Immelt, CEO of General Electric, and he executed this approach very successfully. Therefore, we are following this principle. There is no digital strategy. I mean, many consultants are often talking about digital strategies, but they are actually meaning that we are doing a strategy in the digital world. Well, this is my basis for the start of this course, and I would like to thank you, and I would like to hint to you the 5 competitive forces of Michael Porter. And if you have time, please watch it. In addition, there's a link to his lecture on strategy. It's an hour and 30 minutes long, so it takes some time, but nevertheless, it's worthwhile watching it. Thank you very much.